Hello. Welcome to Productions MJC.
Okay, folks, this is serious. I have a serious bone to pick with these liars on the internet. Michael Knowles, Steven Crowder, uh, Gutfield, Gervais, Piers Morgan, Russell Brand. Now, it's not just guys. Who else is in the mix? Well, we have good old Megyn Kelly, Candace Owen. You know, they're all a bunch of liars. They spread absolute garbage fake news constantly. And I'm tired of it and I want them to step up to the plate and just knock it off. You know, because we've all seen it. I can give you folks a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So again, Michael Knowles, and this is the short list, but Michael Knowles, Steven Crowder, uh, Gutfield, Gervais, Piers Morgan, Russell Brand, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owen, all of these people are just spreading heinous, heinous lies, fake news, fake uh, garbage that we just don't need. We need to be treated like the intelligent people we are. They need to knock that junk off. So, what am I talking about? Well, they use words that they make up. They don't exist. They're not really real. We've had examples of real words that we've used for a long time as a country, and these people spread this fake crap all over the place. You know, we just need them to use the proper, appropriate terms. We need them to speak to us as though we're grown adults. We know that they're lying and fake and everything else. But it's easy for me to say that without pointing out an example, right? I mean, if I don't point out an example of the garbage that these people are spreading, the fake news and all that stuff, then what good am I? I'm no better than them, right? Well, let's just look at one simple thing. Let's look at an example: cultural appropriation. We know that's the adoption of elements from a minority or marginalized culture by a dominant culture. We know it. We know it to be true. We know it happens. We've explained it. We tell people how to recognize it and stuff like that. We have examples, right? We have examples all over the place. We can look this up everywhere where people are stealing basically the costumes of the other people, and they are acting like they are a member of that society. Because see this, uh, this person is Asian. She's definitely not Native American. So why does she have that on? That's cultural appropriation. It's not just a white thing. It's not something that only white people can do. Everybody can do it, and it's needs to stop, right? We all agree it needs to stop, and we don't call it anything except what it is. We call it out for what it is because it's crap and it's junk, right? Well, what about gender appropriation? It happens all the time. It does. Is gender appropriation real? Yes, it happens constantly. But these people like to spread fake news and everything else, and they use junk, garbage, fake news words. But gender appropriation is real. It happens constantly, it happens right in front of us. And what do we call it? We don't call gender appropriation by its proper term. These jerks use some fake made up term, transgenderism, and that's not a real thing. It's gender appropriation. We know it. We know these are not two women. These are two men dressed up like women. They are grabbing the costumes of the other gender and they are appropriating. They want the same privileges that the other gender gets. They're stealing. Obviously stealing from the let's look at the definition. Gender appropriation is the adoption of elements from a minority or marginalized culture, aka gender. Let's just change the words. Let's just change those words. Gender appropriation is an adoption of elements from a minority or marginalized gender by the dominant gender in a way that is exploitive, disrespectful, or divorced from its original meaning. So when a man calls himself a woman, that is completely divorced from its original meaning. Right? I mean, we can just change the words around and there we are. Cultural appropriation happens, and so does gender appropriation. It occurs when members of a dominant gender adopt language, clothing, traditions, music, symbols, or other gender elements from the minority gender without proper understanding, acknowledgement, or consent for personal gain or social advantage. Well, holy cow, we saw that with that Thomas person when they won all those swimming events because they came in dead last in the men's thing. But when it went to women's sports, boy, the powerhouse destroyed all the women because it was a man swimming in a women's competition. Gender appropriation is not just a white thing or a man thing or a girl thing. Gender appropriation is junk. And gender appropriation is real. We see it all the time. But these commentators use the fake transgenderism term, which it's not. This is gender appropriation. This is gender appropriation. It is obvious. It is absolute obvious that these are gender appropriators. This is a man pretending to be a woman for financial gain and other stuff, just like the definition says. And I mean, come on. These are men. These are men that, let's go back to the definition again. Gender appropriation is the adoption of elements from a minority or marginalized gender by a dominant culture in a way that is exploitive, disrespectful, or divorced from its original meaning. The definition, gender appropriation, occurs when members of a dominant gender adopt language, clothing, traditions. See, it all fits, it all works. Transgenderism is a lie. These people need to stop lying and call it by what it is. Call it gender appropriation. Be truthful. Stop lying. Stop feeding the lie in the fake news. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of different pictures here. Because look, is this transgenderism or gender appropriation? Well, if it's transgenderism, then this is transculturalism. It is as simple as that. If that is cultural appropriation, this is gender appropriation. They're not different. They are exactly the same. It's men adopting the clothing, mannerisms, and language and body language and such of a culture, and they are pretending to be another culture, and it's wrong. These are men adopting the gender-specific clothing, mannerisms, and so it's the same stuff. So it is absolute, ultimate, pure, perfect garbage. Because when you die, what's going to happen? The bones tell the difference. You can, that's how they categorize. When you die, they won't look on your headstone, if you have one, to say what you are, male or female, boy or girl, man or woman. The bones, the pelvic bones will tell the difference, and a 5-year-old child can understand that, 8-year-old easily, when you die. So I would say again to Michael, Stephen, all these people, Piers, Russell, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owen, stop it. You're not fooling anybody. It's gender appropriation. Here is the definition again. Let's look. Gender appropriation is the adoption of elements from a minority or marginalized gender by a dominant gender in a way that is exploitive, disrespectful, or divorced from its original meaning. Gender appropriation occurs when members of a dominant gender adopt the language, clothing, traditions, music, symbols, other gender elements from the minority gender without proper understanding, acknowledgement, or consent, often for personal gain or social advantage or social attention. Social advantage. Who is that jerk? The thing called, what's their, Tino or something like that? The one that got caught taking photographs in a woman's bathroom, the man that got caught doing that in Disney bathrooms. Yeah. So they are appropriating the language, clothing, traditions. We know what it is. So Michael, Stephen, Greg, Ricky, Piers, Russell, Megyn, Candace, we know what you're doing. Pull your head out of your butt and start calling it what it is. Because gender appropriation is real. Transgenderism isn't. Gender appropriation is real because cultural appropriation is real. Gender appropriation is completely real, and it's only bolstered by these jerks that call it by something it's not. There's no such thing. We all know what it is. Let's go and look at that one last time. This we automatically know is cultural appropriation. It's not transculturalism. Transculturalism, my eye, that's a lie. It is not. So that is not transgenderism. That is gender appropriation. We know that's cultural appropriation. We know that is gender appropriation. So don't believe them when they tell you, when these smart aleck new personalities call it transgenderism.
Because they are lying to you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. This has been Productions MJC.